Consumer Reports is no longer recommending Tesla Model 3 to its readers, to its consumers, based on the reliability issues that they kind of found out about as they did their latest survey. And yes, this is the same publication that also said that the Tesla Model 3 owners have indicated they're the most satisfied owners out there. So we're going to unpack that as well. But the reason I'm making this video is that as I read the article that they published about it, I just found so many weird inconsistency in terms of how they came up to these conclusions, or how they've conducted the survey. Maybe this doesn't necessarily go for the Model 3 particularly. It's just a very odd way of doing this. But as I read that article, I just strongly disagree on how they've conducted their research in the survey, and therefore I'm questioning if the result is legit. All of this is coming up next. Welcome to E4 Electric, your unbiased source of electric car news. And of course, if this is your first time here, welcome. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button down there. It's free, and that way you won't miss anything moving forward. And of course, I just want to give a quick shout out to one of my newer Patreons, Rodney Gilbertson. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community. That is the only place where you can watch me live. Thank you so much to you and everybody who is supporting my independent channel by contributing and of course joining the benefits that you have at the Patreon. If you want to become a Patreon, there's a link in the description of this video. Thank you so much for supporting my show. Okay, so Consumer Reports just came out saying that they're no longer recommending Model 3. And okay, so I don't necessarily disagree that the reliability of the Model 3 has been pretty questionable. And there are quite a few issues that have been reported over and over again. Some were fixed, some are maybe in the middle of being fixed. So I'm not really arguing with a conclusion, but what I am arguing is that how they've kind of conducting their overall sort of research and surveys. And just like I said, this may not be just the issue with their Model 3 article. So here's the article, and it says Tesla Model 3 loses CR recommendation over reliability issues. They're almost like talking about themselves in the third face, or whatever you call it, third person. Yeah. So that's already a little bit odd. But by the way, you know, very recently they've also said that the Model 3 customers, Model 3 owners are the most satisfied also owners, despite the reliability issues. And this is something to be said about Tesla, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. So they're saying in most cases, reliability issues will undermine satisfaction, but when a vehicle has an enthusiastic following, like with Tesla, owners may overlook some issues. And I guess this is essentially a definition of Tesla fanboys, of this, you know, amazing, really unprecedented following that Tesla has, where people are essentially being treated like crap sometimes, or poorly, and people are still excited about the brand. Apple has a very similar following of very much hardcore fans, and there are good things, there are bad things, right? Obviously, good thing is that the product is so amazing that the customer service and reliability can be so or even poor, and people are still would be very much excited about the product and about the whole culture. You know, obviously Elon Musk is a big part of it, just like Steve Jobs was a big part of Apple's culture and Apple's movement. But on another hand, obviously when brand kind of figures out that they don't really need to produce a reliable a product or a good customer service, well, they get even worse at it, and obviously customers suffer. I myself am, you know, many times suggested that I'm going to be leaving the brand of Tesla, not because it's not the best car in the market. It is definitely the best electric car in the market, period. Well, correction, the best car in the market, period. But it's the reliability and most important customer service issues that are just absolutely killing me. But okay, so let's dive into what the report actually says and where I'm starting to have problems with it. Before that, of course, I want to remind you that this video in this channel is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla, which I believe are much more reliable than some of the cars. I have a few of them on my Tesla Model S, and I'm very happy about it. If you want to own one of those, before that, browse to the description of this video. You will find a discount code in there. That way you can save yourselves a few bucks. All right, so now quick reminder about the this history here. So in the beginning of last year, so about a year ago, the Consumer Reports kind of uncovered a problem with the braking distance. It was way longer than acceptable and way longer than Tesla claimed, and Tesla had to issue a retraction and an over-the-air update to fix the problem. Now that's great that they're able to fix a lot of these problems with the over-the-air update. That's absolutely groundbreaking, and I think and I hope all cars in the future are going to utilize that. But for now, it's mainly Tesla that's able to do that. I believe Bolt has issued one, or maybe Nissan Leaf recently to help with some of the issues. So anyway, that is definitely the way to go. But that's where the Consumer Report kind of got in and made Tesla fix this issue. Obviously, the question is, why didn't they note it themselves? Did they not do their own testing? Now, also, so here's some of the quotes from the article. It says from the Consumer Reports, the latest survey data also shows complaints about paint and trim issues. In addition, some members reported that the Model 3 sole display screen acted strangely. So the complaint about the paint and trim issues have always been out there. I mean, the build quality has been poor, reported to be poor, especially in the beginning of a new model run. This is one of the reasons I would like to also switch, because if I'm switching to a company like Audi, and really any legacy manufacturer, especially if it's a luxury legacy manufacturer, one thing they do know how to do is good build quality. But here's where I'm starting to have a problem. Now it's saying the members reported that the Model 3 sole display screen acted strangely. What does that mean? What does it mean, acted strangely? Okay, my mom tells me that her iPhone acts strangely all the time, but she still doesn't really know how to use it because, my parents are old, and you have parents or grandparents that are old, and just because they said, that their gadgets are acting strangely doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the gadget. But this is a consumer survey. This is sort of a scientific, data-driven survey with a report as a result of it, as a product. Really, that's what Consumer Reports product is. So to say that the screen is acting strangely, that's just not enough. They have specified that a lot of times it freezes, a lot of times there are other weird things that are happening, like someone else is pressing parts of the screen. But overall, you have to give us a much better idea of what the issue is, rather than just saying it acts strangely. There's got to be a better word that you can come up with all the data that you received about it. They also said that earlier this year, our test vehicle developed a large crack in its massive rear window during a cold spell when it was parked outside, and this is an issue that's been reported by many of people participating in a survey. Now, I don't know if it's a windshield problem, just the way they make windshields, or this is a windshield problem in the cold. And let me remind you, the problem that they have not mentioned anywhere in that report is a problem that I think is one of the biggest, if not the biggest issue with the Model 3, is the fact that the door handles and the charge port could freeze to the point that you can't open the car or a charge port. Now, they claim they fixed this problem, once again, with over-the-air update. Not quite sure how that would work. Obviously, they're trying to heat up the car to the point where it unfreezes. But again, this is something that you need to always do ahead of time. Obviously, that uses energy from the car. So to me, that's not really a good fix. It's a hack. But generally speaking, I don't need to worry about not being able to open my car because my door handle's frozen. So it's weird that they haven't really mentioned that part of it. And also, and here's my biggest problem. They're saying when the Model 3 first came out in 2017, Consumer Reports gave it an average prediction reliability score based on the survey results at the time about the Model S, because the two shared much of the same technology. BS. Okay, first of all, don't make predictions about a car that just came out with the new technologies that never really tried before. First of all, secondly, they're not based on the same technology as the Model S. That car build is very different. There are a lot of different and newer things how they've done what they've done with this car, and it is still a new run. It was still a first year of launching a new model. So that is absolutely ridiculous that they're actually trying to say, oh yeah, that other car that we've been making, yeah, that one sounds to be all right now. So this one probably is going to be good as well. And I'm assuming they based it on the later Model S models rather than earlier years 2012 and 2013 of Model S, where it had just as many reliability problems, if not more. Same with the Model X. So no, you can't rely on the Model S to predict the Model 3 issues. And by the way, didn't really do a good job doing that, because again, they've predicted that it will act just like the Model S that's been perfected almost over the 5-year period act, and that just makes no sense. I haven't really been reading up their reports that much, and I'm assuming that this is the same problem that they face with the way they conduct their service with other cars, as they've done with Model 3. Obviously, when Model 3 or any Tesla gets downgraded or upgraded with any really outlet, whether it's news outlet or financial outlet that makes big news. But I'm telling you, I'm calling BS on just the way they've conducting these, and really, does it really matter? Now, for my taste, from what I see on the message boards, the ones that I run, and just in the community and people who I know who own Model 3, there are quite a few many reliability issues even now, and it just doesn't seem like Tesla has ever learned on how to make perfect cars. And hopefully they will in the future. This unfortunately are still growing pains, even though it's been a few years now. But at the same time, just like I said in the beginning, the same Consumer Reports publication says that the Model 3 owners are the happiest with their cars. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to know, what do you guys think, especially those of you who do have a Tesla, if you're just a fan of the brand. Do you think it's good that the brand that does not have a very reliable product or good customer service actually enjoys the highest satisfaction? Is this good or bad for the customers in the future? Let me know in the comment section. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.